Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be going over a bit of Hatsuharu's backstory and his appearances in the anime. Then I'm going to analyze his character and explain why people like him as much as they do. But before that, if you like my videos and want to support, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. Also, if I miss anything, you want to add something, or if there's a character you want me to talk about, leave it in the comments. And without further ado, let's get into it. Fruits Basket is a manga series written and illustrated by Natsui Takuya in 1998. In 2001, it got its first anime adaptation, which only got one season. After a significant amount of time has passed, in 2019 it got a reboot, which had 3 seasons, successfully completing the series. For shoujo mangas, Fruits Basket is a classic, and most likely you've either watched it or have heard about someone that's obsessed over one of the characters. But in case you haven't, for some reason, I'll go over the show's premise. The series primarily is about our lovable main protagonist Toru Honda. After some anime plot things happen, she meets these 3 lovely boys. These 3 are part of the Sohma family, a wealthy family in which 13 members are possessed by the animals from the Chinese zodiac. These members that are possessed by the Chinese zodiac spirits are cursed to turn into their respective animal forms if they embrace anyone of the opposite sex. Though the premise of their curse might sound a bit gimmicky to people who've never watched the anime, the way these characters deal with their curses prospectively adds a surprising amount of depth to these characters and makes it very believable on why they act in the way they act. Now, as for who we're talking about today, that would be Hatsuharu Sohma. Hatsuharu, also known as Haru, is cursed by the Ox Zodiac. An important thing to note about Hatsuharu before I get into his backstory is that though they never call it this directly, Hatsuharu is somewhat bipolar, or at least something adjacent to it. He has a harsh, aggressive side known as Haru's black persona, and a calm, collected, softer side known as Haru's white persona. Now that you know the premise of the anime and a little bit about how our character looks, we're going to go into his backstory. Since Haru was very young, he was often ridiculed for being stupid by adults of the Sohma family. This was primarily due to the ox being tricked to carry the rat to the zodiac banquet, and for those of you that know the story, the rat jumps off of the ox's back so that they're the very first zodiac. Because of the constant harassments of adults calling him dumb for being tricked by the rat, as a child, he held strong resentment for Yuki Sohma, which is the child who was cursed by the rat zodiac. Although Hatsuharu was a quiet and albeit aloof person, the constant berating and irritation from adults caused him to develop his black persona, which caused a lot of distress with his parents. They made him start martial arts as a way to relieve his stress and deal with some of the pent-up emotions he has. You know, instead of, talking to him. But unfortunately for them, it did not work very well, as he was laughed at and ridiculed at his practices too, by adults and children alike. Positive that did happen during his martial arts is that he gained a friend in Kyo Sohma, the child cursed by the cat zodiac and shunned by the rest of the Sohmas. One day, Hatsuharu ran into Yuki, his actual first time meeting him, his first time laying eyes on the person that's caused him so much pain, although it was all indirect. All the bullying and anger that people have shown him for being quote-unquote stupid boiled in his chest and he blew up. He said that he hated Yuki and that all the misfortunes in his life were because of him. He ranted on, laying his emotions bare, as prior to this, he has been bottling them up and just holding them in his chest. Yuki stood there and let Haru rant his grievances to him, and after he was finished, he simply asked him if he thought he was stupid. Haru replied no, with tears in his eyes. And Yuki said that he believed him and smiled to him kindly. That simple interaction from Yuki freed Haru of all the nonsense he was subjected to by the people around him. He didn't feel like he was bottling up his emotions anymore, and he felt free for the first time in his life. Also, seeing how different Yuki was from what people said, all the hate he had for him turned into love. Love that persisted as Haru grew up in years. Speaking of love, another person that's important in Hatsuharu's background is Rin Sohma, the girl who's cursed by the horse zodiac, who he fell in love with some years after the interaction with Yuki. Though I love Rin and Haru's interactions every time they're on screen, I can't explain all the things about their relationship without making this video too long. I might explain more of it if you guys want a Rin video though, hint hint nudge nudge. But now back to Haru. Personality-wise, Hatsuharu's white persona is laid-back, kind, straight-faced, and usually calm and respectful, as his black persona is loud, violent, foul-mouthed, and typically short-tempered. He's also a bit of a pervert, but it makes for some of the funnier moments in the anime. Haru is immensely loyal, and to the younger Zodiac members, he's a definite older brother figure. Though I'd say that older brother energy extends to Toru as well throughout the series, depending on which side of him is out. Haru for the most part seems to get along with most of the zodiacs, though how he interacts with each of them varies greatly. For example, his black persona always wants to fight with Kyo, but it's more of a respect thing than a fight with malintent. My personal headcanon is that for his white persona, his best friend is Yuki, whereas his black persona, his best friend is Kyo, though both sides of him clearly show love for both of the boys. Now let's get into Haru's design. He is 5'7", has two-tone white hair with black roots that spikes out at the top and dark brown eyes. Haru, as most characters in the show, will typically be wearing his standard high school uniform, which is a blue sweater that has a white collar with matching pants and a white undershirt. Unlike the other students, Haru wears his shirt unbuttoned without a necktie. Outside of school, Haru typically wears gothic clothing, mostly blacks, tight jeans, tank tops, chains, and collars. Hatsuharu hands down has the most drip in the anime. Part of the reason I chose to do the video on him instead of any of the other Sohmas is he has the most diverse outfits from the rest of the cast. He's 16 rolling up in a fur coat and leather pants. The drip is uncontested. Another example of a bomb outfit is this sleeveless black tank with red jeans and a red choker to match. 10 out of 10. But now we'll get into why people like this character so much. In media in general, people tend to enjoy split personality characters. I think a large reason for this is essentially you know what you're getting. They're characters with complex emotions, of course, but depending on their alter that is present, it's much easier to understand the results of how they're going to react to information. For example, with Hatsuharu, he does genuinely funny things as either of his personas. But if he's in his black persona, you can expect him to do something aggressive or at least be incredibly forward with someone. While as with his white persona, you can expect him to be pretty aloof and run wild in his imaginations. Like in the Haunted House episode where he made an entire backstory off of seeing two ghosts. Both parts of Haru are incredible in their own specific ways, and when it comes to people that are attracted to him, we get to see him be an incredibly loving partner to Rin, even while she's pushing him away for plot reasons. Hatsuharu, more than any other character, shows how he's feeling and actually works through his emotions without bearing them. It's a refreshing sight for anime, and in general cements him as a favorite for a lot of people. Haru is an amazing friend, an incredible partner, and just someone who listens in a world of people who talk over listening. It's clear to see why people would be so drawn to him. Also, for you degenerates, someone that can be soft with you when you need it and rough when you want it, I'm sure certain people can see the appeal. And that's about all the time I have for this video. I didn't get any comments on who I should do a long video on next, so I kind of just went with one of the characters I enjoyed from Fruits Basket. If you guys watch my Sim series, you know that my favorite character is Hatsuri, but Hatsuharu's close second, and I really wanted people to appreciate him in a longer form video. If you're not a part of it already, we have a Discord where you guys are free to talk to each other about these characters or talk to me about any questions you might have. Also, I do see all of the comments, so if you guys have anything to say to me, feel free to leave it down below. But as usual, whether you grew up with the series, just enjoy the character, or none of the above, thank you for watching. Make today better than yesterday, and until next time, see you later.